Montana's gone. Something resembling fire in its brilliance is absorbed as solid nourishment in the ice. The silent state of the water below tremors, buckling up through crust like a fever. Any rapid burst or volley of fences structures thoughts as such, while barriers of rails, pickets, wires lean low in eternal wind. Any movement of air from Troy to Baker speaks an ancient tongue well by Great Falls. Idle chatter reminds us all the power of breathing stuns us constantly. When past and present are not quite so far apart. Where treasure is a place. Where Icarus himself lies buried in a glacier, melting waxy tears inside of Electric Peak, bubbling and faithful as Yellowstone River whites in clouds to Livingston's lonely saloons. Where, through the crystal rain of summer, dries a wildflower volume in easy lessons, full with long cries of secret lives, whispering like chainsaws, and stopped-up rivers loosed for waves of timber tumbling from stunned mountains, weep spilled milk of pine tar, foaming frothing reminders of the hardwood east and her ancient hills. Where Mary trembles on apologetic buses 300 miles for Saturday pilgrimage to Deer Lodge, Holy Penitentiary, lifeless and quiet for the love of child, her father, her distant Romeo, wedged in black iron bars, a cavalry fortress centered in a patch of wood shacks with curtain windows blind to colorless gardens, still at the foot of Calvary. Where dusk surrounds you in Drummond, as wide nights close on the weary, staggering hence to the docks of Seattle, cast off, lingering in Missoula at midnight, pleading and desperately scavenging bits of luggage, whiskey staining breath like rain in August, alone in ink prison sky, centuries from Brooklyn's summer hydrants. Where white war for greasy grass saw blue spilled into sentimental puddles, outnumbered as history ennoble, and all from a vision did Sitting Bull see, swift and vivid for Crazy Horse, as a defeated, though adamant foe general trembles and falls, a town, a county, a national forest, and a sacred hill marked forever on Crow land, pay him tribute each hot morning. Where darkened red cowboys run from eastern death in Pittsburgh, in dark flannel and boot comfort, cautious on barren land, burning sooty piles of smoking shit to free him from coyotes' great ambition. Where the Yellowstone River bends around Billings as a yellow cliff propped up against dark white chemical towers, puffing new colors into the air, anxious for big timber, and the crazy mountains whiter still, red brick streets almost dying, and boarded up metropolis, half abandoned, narrow bus terminal of more white dirt, with two thin doors like death, as beauty is scaled and duty is slowly measured for the final judgment east or west. Where Miles City drugstore girls await the 10:30 from Bismarck, desperate for the love of some mysterious eternal passenger, saint-like and meek of countenance, and are broke-hearted by 11. Where tobacco root mountains open and fall into the Butte hillside, dug out like grave robbery, the skeletons of countless historical pasties littering 1,000 dead mines like tunnels of memory fogged alive, and lonely ice cream shops are frozen in a smoke-filled stare just 19 miles from opportunity. Where affectionate burnt offerings are singed like short hair at Pompey's pillar, and the stale memories of mad Chicago nights hop desperately in a strobe-lit black hair, floating like ravens' wings, tumbling clear to carbon with a thud in mountains where wild horses sip bighorn waters. Where colors broadside through gates of the mountain's wilderness as coffee or brittle chocolate blown silver with brotherly intentions, mean and subtle in such sweet asylum. Where itinerants jackpot through Homestake Pass like highwaymen down I-90, and with clever retardandos do heave mighty Janus over Big Belt Mountains, outside Two Dot, onto Coffin Butte, and skidding into Canaan, find brunette genius normalized and ivoried. Where motorists in shrill motorhomes suffer like Plutus, stranded in seas of off-color newsprint, old as a mustard plaster poultice, prowling, still as milk or water, soiled as a proper noun, and brackish as ancestry, genuflecting captive as a chain gang, singing unfinished digging rhythms, stubbly and standard as the mother tongue. Where the hemlock branch, like unseen laurels of hysterical immigrants, falls faint over young love at every turn, unbent and bewildered, and runs into the night's cold winter storms, frozen as the Powder River. Where the cessation of breathing leaves lungs colder than that. Where unwritten Hindustani law lies buried a lonesome and miles from the nearest portage. Where the cative's pleas are silent as the wind in the highest elevations of Castle Mountains, driven faster than radio waves across meridians, rising and recitative. Where spiders' webbing are highways, red on the maps, bleeding broken trails with rivers quietly past the rumble of glaciers. Where medicine rocks seal vague Arabic numbers on Chalk Butte, counting feet or miles and stretches of days to Canadian ports at Big Beaver or Wild Horse. Where the perils of the unseen night burn rays like sight in the eyes of awful, hidden daylight. One must never sleep. Modern words are foreign sighs in sight of these white mounts. Tall, Missouri headwaters sit above the world and trickle to fill bayou and flood gulf. Yellows, forever in ranges, shine on to the tundra. Chief Joseph stains this land forever with the tears of his mother snuffed at Bear's Paw, spilling into Milk River and still Saskatchewan, a broken, bitter dream. The sun is that cold.